We have bestie bestie situation, and it's either a dude or a lady. Yeah. And then they say this is my BFF, my best friend forever. Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel. This is Liki Mokera. Thank you so much for tuning in. We have been doing a series. Actually, this is the second episode of the first series of Life Before 24 and 25. The first episode we dealt with decision making and poor decision making when we were before 24 and after 25. And we had a really nice guest. Her name was Sharon. You can click here, the link above here, which can take you back to the first episode. So today we're going to discuss about boundaries. Boundaries, and I'm joined with my friend for a long, long time. We went to high school. Her name is Sandra. Yes. So I think, Sandra, you can introduce yourself.
Hello, hi.
Yeah.
Yes, naitwa Sandra.
Yeah, so Sandra has been a friend of mine for a long time, since high school. I think it's around 10. Is it more than 10 years? It's 10 years.
Yes, 2023 itakuwa 10 years.
Yeah, we are in 2023. So it's been a long time, that high school friendship and, life here and there. So, Sandra, today we are going to discuss about boundaries, and basically boundaries in relationship. So, dear viewer, when I say about boundaries in relationship, there are many types of relationship. There is dating, there is relationship between a mother and a child, a relationship between siblings, and in all these relationships, there are boundaries that are put in order for a certain relationship to take place. And I will start by defining what boundary is in a layman's language. I think I can put it easy and say that it's basically a line that which marks the limit of something to go through. Like their boundaries, our country has a boundary. What do you understand what boundary is for yourself?
I can say boundary is like a limitation to certain things. And then these limitations come from the values you uphold and what you believe is important to you.
Yeah, exactly. Basically, that's it. And we have boundaries in our relationships because there's some people who just tend to get out of the limits of boundary, and there's this thing of disrespect. Maybe somebody seems to be immature or something. So what is the necessity of having boundary in a relationship? Either it's dating or just sibling or mother to daughter. What do you think the necessity of boundary in relationships?
I think it helps you know who you are and who you are not, and be able to set ground rules for what you can and what you cannot do.
Yeah, actually, boundaries, I think if you don't have that self-aware of yourself, you can't set boundaries, because all the time you'll be like, somebody does things to you here and there, and you're like, you don't know how to react towards it. And you're like, you can't say yes or no to it. So we have to understand what really makes us happy. So if we put boundaries in some things, we tend to have that understandization of what is making us happy. And do you have the benefits? Okay, let me just before going to the next one, we have different types of boundaries. We have different types of boundaries, and I can say we have sexual boundaries, we have physical boundaries, we have emotional boundaries, We also have mental boundaries, and we have non-negotiable boundaries, and also we have spiritual boundaries. In all these type of boundaries, can you just
Yes.
like, we can talk about the emotional boundaries. We can talk about emotional boundaries. And in these emotional boundaries, many people don't tend to express themselves in the emotional boundaries. Yeah, can you please explain more what you think about the emotional boundary?
I can say a boundary being a limitation to what you cannot do or what you can,
Mm-hmm.
and then having to set a safe space for yourself
Yeah.
and also personal space. And when someone crosses that boundary, how does that make you feel? Do you feel like you are loved? Do you feel like you are violated or maybe angered or appreciated? So I
Mm-hmm.
think it depends on what you value
Mm-hmm.
and what that boundary is and
Mm-hmm.
how that boundary, when crossed, what what feelings or what emotions do do they follow after that?
Mm-hmm. So do you think there is boundaries in dating? You have been seeing this person for quite some time, like 2 years, 3 years. Do you think there is boundaries in dating?
Relationship,
Mm-hmm.
you can have physical boundary and emotional boundaries.
Mm-hmm.
Physical being maybe you like things organized,
Yeah.
you know, ukiweka kitu mahali, you definitely get it. When someone comes and
Mm-hmm.
disorganizes space, then that person has crossed a boundary, and that makes you feel maybe bad, makes you feel angered. And for emotional, I can say when a person does not allow you to express yourself, allow you to talk about things that matter, then
Yeah.
you end up not worthy. You end
Mm-hmm.
up having low self-esteem, low self-worth. I think both the physical and emotional boundary go hand in hand. And
Mm-hmm.
if one, for example, if one that example of you like things organized, when someone disorganizes your space, you feel angry, and that anger is an emotion.
Mm-hmm.
So if someone crosses the boundary physically, it then affects you emotionally. So I can say physical and emotional boundaries really matter when it comes to relationships.
Exactly. I think this is where even we come to find this group of people called narcissists. The narcissists, they, I don't think they, in terms of relationship, there's that boundary. Like they can really tend to, they play with them mentally. Like, you know how narcissists are? They good and bad. You can't know the good side of them, the good side of them, the bad side of them. They can really torture somebody emotionally, mentally. Narcissists are there. So I think they don't have that boundary. I think for our viewers to understand what we really mean about boundaries in relationship, I can give a situation. Um, I can give a setup, a situation in a relationship where physical and emotional boundary is like literally seen. Like, for example, you've had an argument with your boyfriend, or let's say the person you're dating, or your husband, or anything. And then your boyfriend knows that uh, how to cool you down is maybe like apologizing to you immediately. And then at that time, you don't want anything to do with that with your boyfriend, or talk to that. You don't even want to see him. Uh like, in some, like, for example, me, I when I'm angry, I don't say, I'm just quiet. I will look at you, you'll say anything, I will look at you, and I will literally put you in a non-communication situation. So in that point, I will like, hapo sasa ndo we think boundary comes in, when there is a disagreement between two parties. Yeah, this one, unampea time, you give this person some time to cool off or something, and then you come and patch your things up. So that is the situation. I think, I don't know if you have any setup you can make, you can give us and make our viewers understand what we have the boundaries in relationships. Me, I have given dating. Maybe you can give in any that you have, maybe sibling to sibling or mother to child.
For me, I can say a physical boundary.
Yeah.
What I can say is I'm not big on physical touch,
Okay.
like things like hugging and holding of hands. So a while back, I used to be so, like, it used to get to me, and I get so worked up. I feel like I'm violated. I feel like someone has taken up my personal space. But
Mm-hmm.
when I dealt with it, I found out that those responses are a similar response to what happened earlier in life. So now I'm aware of how to deal with it. When I feel that, like someone has crossed my personal boundary, I disengage, gather my thoughts and my mind, and then try to figure out whether I will engage later or I'll just move on.
Mm-hmm.
Being able to identify and create that boundary
Mm-hmm.
has made me understand that whatever I was feeling is not out of the ordinary. It's just
Mm-hmm.
something that I did not understand then, but now I do understand, and I do have boundaries put in place to protect myself and also protect others.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think I get what you're saying. In people react towards some things, or people have put boundaries towards in some things because maybe they've had a childhood experience or maybe a trauma, right? I
Yes.
can, yeah, I can relate to yours. So I think we can give some of the benefits of setting up a boundary in a relationship. There's this thing that people really don't know what to put when it comes to workplaces. People don't have boundaries. Workplaces, people don't have boundaries. A person literally knows what you're eating at night, what you're drinking in the morning, what is happening in your family. Yeah. And then hence, and then maybe out of there, you your colleague, and then you just out of there, maybe you have a quarrel, and then this other colleague just bursts and says everything about your family or whatever is happening in your life. I mean, do you think we should set up boundaries mostly in workplaces?
I can say it's just like identifying
Mm-hmm.
what you value in your workplace. If you value your work and your work ethic, then you'll be
Mm-hmm.
able to understand that these are certain areas that I present to my workplace, and these are certain areas that I don't present. And
Mm-hmm.
having that understanding will save you a lot of heartbreak or just a lot of too much drama. So
Yeah.
maybe you, like, this is what I present to my work, and this is what I respect from your colleagues or from any other person.
Mm-hmm.
Being with that understanding, then now you'll be able to identify the boundaries, what you value, and and how does that affect you when they are crossed. So
Mm-hmm.
that will help you not to share maybe too much, or not to share or to share too little. So you have to have an understanding of what you're presenting at work, what you
Mm-hmm.
value at your workplace, and also what you don't value as well.
Mm-hmm. And also the reason as to why you are going to work. It's all about the about the pay.
Yes.
That is the number one thing. People will be like, why you go to work for money? What about the value of the company? What about experience or anything? But let us not lie to ourselves. It's all about the bag. And also we have to understand that not everyone is not your friend in the workplace or whatever boundary, whatever relationship that we have. People just come in your life for some benefits or just some interest. So now we are getting into friendship boundaries. There's some people who are friends with other people because of certain benefits. It may be maybe time to party. You're like, this one, this is my friend, this is my party buddy. Yeah, and in times of in need or in times of downs, ups and downs, that person is not there. So I think we have to understand that not everyone is not our friend. And also saying yes without adding limits to. Saying yes to without adding limits to. When like somebody proposes something, and let's say, for example, you're a person who takes time to process whatever you're being told. You think before you speak, right? And then you're a kind of a person who puts yourself, you put other people's needs first other than yours. Such a person tends to have no boundaries. Tends to say yes to most of the things, and you find that there are no boundaries because he or she is afraid of maybe uh, hurting the other person's feeling. Yeah, so we have to know that to learn to say no. And then we can, what are the benefits of having boundaries? The benefits of having boundaries in a relationship. Me, I can start with self-respect or self-love. Yes, I can start with that one. And then if you just set your boundaries in all the relationships that you have, you're going to actually have that confidence in yourself. I think you can add some of the benefits that we have in a benefits of setting boundaries.
What I can say about a relationship, that's being either platonic or romantic or maybe friendship.
Yeah.
I think you must first understand value.
Mm-hmm.
What are your non-negotiables?
Mm-hmm.
And what can you do without or do with?
Mm-hmm.
When you identify those, then now you can be able to understand and create and know, be with knowledge of, if this thing happens, then it will make me feel like this and this. So if you understand, now you'll be able to categorize the friendship you have. Maybe win him to a happy, maybe win him to a knowledge and stuff. So you can be able to identify those. When you are aware of what you value,
Yeah.
you'll be able to identify and see what the others bring to the table. And benefits of a boundary ziko mingi sana, but what I can say is you'll be able to know who you are and who you are not, what you can put up with and what you cannot put up with.
Yeah.
And then you'll be able to understand this is where I can start and this is where I stop when it comes to certain things.
Yeah, true. And also there are less conflicts if we add boundaries. If we add boundaries in most of the relationships that we have, they're going to be so less, like very less conflicts in most of the relationships that we have. And then some of the decisions that we make in putting boundaries, some of them even cause depression. Because they're like, so you feel like this person is getting into your system, like your personal system, literally, and you don't know how to say yes or no to this person. So you feel like you have been violated in a way, in a personal way. So that is what that brings us to the poor boundaries. With the poor boundaries. So can you like tell us what or give us a setup where we can expect poor boundaries?
I can say a poor boundary is just
Yeah.
the inability to understand what you value. And when you don't identify those values, then you not be
Yeah.
able to set boundaries.
Yeah.
So it's just the inability to know yourself
Yeah.
and know what you value, and just being able to understand in relationship, this is what I demand from you, this is what I respect, this is what I need from you. When you don't understand those values, then you not make good boundaries, then that will create maybe poor judgment, poor relationship, unhealthy relationships, unhealthy boundaries. So that is, I can say poor boundaries, just the inability,
Yeah.
to set up a boundary.
Yeah. Yeah. True. 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 And for example, I can give a setup on how a poor boundary is is like given, like it's seen. Um, we have bestie bestie situation, and it's either a dude or a lady. Yeah. And then they say, this is my BFF, my best friend forever. And then even in we have in these relationships, people are so close until it's like there are no boundaries anymore. There are no boundaries that like um I can sit on my best friend, like that's a dude. I have a boyfriend, and then let's say I have a best friend male, like nimemweka friend zone. I can literally sit on his lap. He can touch me however. He can call me babe. He can call me everything. I mean, I think there are some certain your boundaries. Apple, there are no boundaries kabisa. Apple, that is a setup that I can give. And besides that, I mean, what do you think about this bestie thing about the boundaries? Do you think that people should relook into it?
I think you can have a bestie,
Uh-huh.
but you know the what the friendship is about.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the friend is ule wako kuchanua, there is shamba mahali,
Mm-hmm.
there's that friend who maybe takes you somewhere,
Yeah.
enlightens you.
Yeah.
So I think you have to define, first you
Mm-hmm.
have to define your friendships
Yes.
and understand this
Mm-hmm.
is what I need from a friend. Can you be able to at least provide those items or those values that I
Mm-hmm.
hold dear? So if you are not able to identify, then kila mtu atakuwa bestie because utakuwa walked over and people will take advantage of you. You'll be
Yeah.
manipulated. You'll feel your sense of worth will just be kidogo, low
Mm-hmm.
self-esteem. So I think you have to identify first what you need in a friendship,
Mm-hmm.
and then look for those values in people around you, or uh, people generally that you want to create friendship with.
Yeah,
You
true.
have to attention and the
Mm-hmm.
values that you are looking, because friendship, like any other relationship, is like an investment.
Yeah.
So you invest emotionally, you invest physically, you invest psychologically, yani you invest in those areas that consider or encompass what a friendship
Mm-hmm.
is.
Mm-hmm. So we have to be intentional in every relationship. Yeah, and
Yes, you
every
have to be intentional.
yeah, every relationship must have, is like you've said, it's an investment. It must have a fruit. Eh? See here such relationships that has to waste each other's time and everything, until it leads to poor boundaries, literally poor boundaries, and then you guys end up being no friends. You like, you detach from each other. You no value of yourself, less respect and everything. So our time is almost done. And most what I've come to what I've taken from this beautiful conversation, it's all about self-aware. Like most of the things that we have discussed, the reasons why if you do not put boundaries, some of the factors we have seen that we have poor, we have people don't respect you. If you do not put boundaries, people do not respect you. We have self undervalue, we have self low esteem. Yeah, and we have poor decision making if you do not put boundaries. So it's all about self-aware. I think self-aware is the mother of everything. Yeah, so and I think people have to understand that it's okay to inconvenience people if the decision you are making is going to make you feel good. What I can tell people, if the decision you're making is going to make you feel good and make the other person feel bad, just do it. Be able to say yes or no to such things, boundaries. It's okay. It's your life and you only live on. So, Sandra, I think you can give us your parting shot towards this and what you can tell the viewer about the boundaries.
I can say boundaries are built. It's
Yeah.
a process that whatever you valued last year can be different from what you value this year. So creating boundaries is an ongoing process. And if you're able to do it, then you'll guard your heart.
Yeah.
You'll guard your space. You'll guide your mind, because these are maybe personal statements. So I can say if you are able to set boundaries, then you are good. You know, this is what I can do. This is what I cannot do. This is where I down my tools.
Yeah.
When you're able to do that, then you'll be able to guard your heart, because when your heart, out of your heart, comes the issues of life. So if you're not able to do that, then you'll have a very, very maybe challenging life.
That's true. Like that is where even maturity kicks in. Yeah, so we have to understand that we can't please everybody when it comes to boundaries. Thank you, Sandra, for joining us today. I hope you're going to see more of you in such talks. Cynthia.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so thank you, viewer, for watching us up to this time. I think we have learned 1 to 3, and one of the major things about boundaries is self-aware. If you're not self-aware about yourself, you're going to be saying yes to almost everything. So thank you so much. Until next time, don't miss out our next episode. If you missed our previous episode, you can catch it here on this link above here. And see you next time. If you're new, kindly subscribe, comment, like, and share. Until next time, bye.